Hey, what's up, guys? Chris from Uncanny Comic Quest. You can tell from the awesome shirt that I have. Welcome to the first episode of, still deciding on a name, but on today's episode, it's going to be Chris's Comic Talk. Can't decide between Chris's Comic Talk or Chris's Comic Corner. I'm not sitting in a corner, so maybe that wouldn't make sense, but I think Chris's Comic Talk has a little ring to it. But anyways, let's get on with the show. Every week I buy new comics. Some of you know that. Maybe none of you know that. Some people like to even claim that I don't read comics. False. So every week I'll be putting out these episodes of the comics that I am reading to tell you guys about them, because not everyone can afford to read comics every week. Honestly, if I probably manage my money a little bit better, I'd probably figure out that I can't really afford to buy comics every week. But I do it for you guys, because why not? I do this for you guys. So be sure to subscribe to this page, because you know it's fun. This week, we've got Wonder Woman, issue number 27. We also have Action Comics, issue number 984, and The Flash, again, issue number 27. These all came out on the same week, obviously. I don't do this every week, but I will do this every week. But I do buy comics every week. So first off, we're going to start off with Wonder Woman, which is the... Let me take a little peek there. Heart of the Amazon storyline, which was actually, it was really cool. We're going to start there, though, because of the ones... These are the only 3 I bought this week. Usually I buy 4, 5, or 6 comics, but it was kind of a slow week. There wasn't as many issues that I wanted to buy. But in this particular issue, not an episode. It wasn't really the best comic, but it did have a cool storyline going, but it kind of sucked because of how it ended. It kind of wrapped it up too quickly, and I would have really liked to see it unfold. But in issue number 26, if you guys don't read Wonder Woman, you'll see that Wonder Woman is kind of working with the government, and she's providing her services to the government, and she goes on missions, and she works with her best friend Etta, who you met in the Wonder Woman movie, but this Etta is 100% completely different than the Etta you saw in that movie. So, in the last issue, Wonder Woman goes to a wedding with Etta as like her date. I don't believe they have any kind of relationship going on, but they are just best friends. If you read Wonder Woman Rebirth, you'll know that it tells some of her story from the past, and it tells some of her story in the present. So when it tells her story from the past, you find out that when she first came to like man's world, that Etta was one of the first people she ever met, and she's been her best friend ever since. So Etta convinced her to go to a wedding with me, have fun, party, hang out. And so they're doing that. And in issue number 26, I believe there's a little girl that's running around the wedding, and Wonder Woman follows her under a table, and she's like, "You're Wonder Woman." And she's like, "Yeah." And I think the little girl says she's playing hide and seek with someone or something. And she says, "Look what I found." And it's like a ticking time bomb. It's a bomb. It's going to blow up. So when issue number 27 starts off, the artwork was a little different in this one. I want to say it had more of like a childish look to it, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. It was just Wonder Woman was illustrated very differently. Kind of had just this different type of face, the way the illustrator did it. But it was really good work. I really liked it. The coloring was great. We see her. She was in casual clothing, but of course she has the Under Woman armor on. She has the Wonder Woman armor on underneath her casual clothes. And so they blow away, and she's Wonder Woman. She's at this wedding. And one thing in the DC Rebirth that they do a lot of is they have a lot of inner dialogue. So the boxes will be like blue if it's Batman's, or they'll be like black if Batman's speaking, they're blue if Superman's speaking, and I believe they're usually red when Wonder Woman is speaking. Actually, if I take a little peek in here, of course I flip right to the Snickers ad, so hey Snickers, give me money for that free advertising. Blue inner dialogue. Wonder Woman has a blue inner dialogue. Great issue, really liked it. So basically, in this issue, the wedding, the explosion happens. That's how this issue starts out. So Wonder Woman, Etta, has a piece of like shrapnel stuck in her abdomen area, and Wonder Woman takes her to a facility where the doctor who looks after them on their mission, she takes them to that doctor. It's Dr. Crawford. I don't know what her first name is. They just refer to as Dr. Crawford. And Wonder Woman is like, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to find out who did this. I'm going to find out. And the doctor's like, no, you can't do that. And Wonder Woman's like, I don't feel so well. And she's like, yeah, because I came up with an Amazonian powered tranquilizer, I guess you would call it, to sedate her. So she finds a way to make Wonder Woman pass out. She draws her blood and splices Wonder Woman's DNA with her own DNA, because apparently you find out in this issue that Dr. Crawford is suffering from some degenerative disease that is basically killing her. She basically has a death sentence. And so when Wonder Woman wakes up, Dr. Crawford is just like freaking yoked. I mean, biceps are huge, her shoulders are broad, she's just big. She's like, I'm like a god. You know, she feels like Wonder Woman, and she says, like, now I know how you feel. Like, when you want to just go back out into battle, and your fierceness and how powerful you are, and your rage and your courage and your power. Wonder Woman is like, you have like the power of the gods in you right now, and that's really something you shouldn't have messed with. And so they get a little brawl going on. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Like, she just made herself a Wonder Woman. Like, that's insane. But then, of course, Wonder Woman kind of pretty much comes to save the day. She like, puts her in a chokehold, and then she uses the lasso of truth, which was a little confusing, but she does use the lasso of truth. Where are we? We're right. Batman, Metal, The Forge. It's going to be great. This part right here. She uses the lasso of truth, and it basically breaks the connection with Wonder Woman's DNA and Dr. Crawford's DNA. And it kind of worked like the lasso of truth knew. The truth was that Diana's blood did not belong in her body. So it unspliced the DNA, made her revert back to her normal human form. And then, unfortunately, it's kind of really sad because she had a disease. She was trying to find a cure for it. She ends up taking her own life. That really sucked. So, kind of a bummer. Good issue, though. But, of the three, my least favorite. But it was still good. So, moving on. Action Comics number 984. If you guys have been following Action Comics lately, it's been freaking awesome. It's been so good. So good. Basically, we've gotten, over the past maybe 5-6 issues, we've gotten Hank Henshaw, who we mostly know as, I'm blanking on the name right now, Cyborg Superman. I'm Cyborg Superman, as the Supergirl show would like to tell us, but that is not Cyborg Superman. That is not. Just saying, I'm Cyborg Superman, does not mean you're Cyborg Superman. Anyways, I digress. Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman. Well, first off, Hank Henshaw was his normal human form. He found a way to become Cyborg Superman again. So over the last few issues, he's been creating this super team of villains, which has been really great. He's got Metallo, who he like reconfigured into being this like super powered Metallo, which is really great. Really cool looking. He recruited the Eradicator, convinced the Eradicator that what he was doing was for the Eradicators and the Kryptonians' best interest. So that's interesting. And then we got Blanc, who personally I'm a huge Superman fan, but I wasn't exactly familiar with the character Blanc, but apparently he's a very, very highly powered telepath. So we got Blanc, we've got Eradicator, we've got Metallo, we've got Cyborg Superman, and we also have Mongol, which I wasn't super familiar with Mongol until I watched the Young Justice cartoon show. So if you watched that show or if you've read him in comics, you know that Mongol is very super powered. So this supervillain team is looking pretty freaking crazy. But then, that's not it. That's not all, folks. he adds General Zod to this supervillain team. Freaking General Zod, are you kidding me? Like, come on. We got Crypto the dog here. Who doesn't love Crypto? Woof woof. That was really cheesy. I shouldn't have done that on camera. Now there's proof of me woofing like a dog. Trying to find it. Basically, the last issue ended with them opening up a portal to the Phantom Zone. So now they're sending the team of Supermen, which if you didn't read issue number 983, you get all of like the Superman family showing up to help Superman. Because in issue 981, when they originally tried to break General Zod out of Amanda Waller's Suicide Squad prison, Superman passed through this weird dimension that really messed with him. It eventually made him blind. But we'll get there. But Superman's blind right now, if you guys didn't know that. He's blind. Like, Superman's blind. What? So, they send the Superman team, because when they go to the Fortress of Solitude and try and take the technology of the Phantom Projector, we get Superman, and he takes on all of these foes. He's blind, by the way. If I didn't mention that, I know I mentioned it. In case you weren't listening, he's blind. They all try and take him on, and he uses the super hearing. So when Blanc says like, "I finally have you, Superman," he's like, "Ha! I know where you are." Boom, punch you in the face, and then he's like listening, and Metallo's like, "I finally have you now, Superman," and it's like, "Pah! I know you're right there." Eventually, he takes out these like kind of lower level villains, but then General Zod like can tell what's going on, and he's like, "You're blind, and I know it." And so eventually they figure out how to gang up on Superman, and they do. They gang up on him. And one of the issues, I think it was 982, ended, and it showed all these different sequences of pages. But you've got Kara as Supergirl, like flying to go save him. You've got new Superman, who I believe is the Japanese Superman. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I might be wrong. I think it's Japanese, but it's called New Superman. And I'll be honest, I can't remember his name right now. But you get him, and then you've got Steel, and then you've got Lana Lang as I believe she's Superwoman in the new DC Rebirth. And you've got all these people come up to like defend him. But that issue ended with General Zod getting control of the Phantom Projector, and he sends everyone to the Phantom Zone, including Eradicator and Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman. Which it's like, well, wait, they were on your team. Like, he's the one that broke you out of Amanda Waller's prison in the first place. Like, why are you sending them there? So the issue goes on. They send them to the Phantom Zone. Oh, Supergirl showed up in the issue. So cool. Love Supergirl. They get to the Phantom Zone, and Clark's vision is brought back, because when you're in the Phantom Zone, it really isn't your physical self that's there. So by sending him into the Phantom Zone, it cured his blindness. Now he has his sight back, which for Superman, you kind of need your vision, because a lot of your powers are revolved around your vision. Heat vision, X-ray vision, microvision, supervision. Supervision. That's funny. But we find out, in the grand scheme of things, even though Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman, recruited all these people, General Zod had his own agenda. His agenda was to break his wife and his son out of the Phantom Zone. Like, what? I didn't even know Zod had a son. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I know he had a son in Smallville, him and his wife, like, they created, like, a genetically spliced, like, son. But no, in this comic, actually had a real son. This is it. Ursa. His wife, Ursa. Which is so cool. Then you get his son, kind of has, like, some emo bangs. Again, metal series. Next issue drops August 16th, so be sure to pick that up at your local comic shop. They get back to Earth. Zod's got his family back. Clark and New Superman, Steel, Supergirl. Well, Supergirl was left on Earth. Superwoman, I should say. they all come back, and they kind of just let Zod go off on his own. But Zod is pretty much like, yeah, I'm going to make Earth my new Krypton. Which is basically what Zod wanted to do in the Man of Steel film, if you guys recall. Really, really good issue. I loved it. I love Superman comics. They're really great. So you get Ursa and her son, and you get Zod, and it's really crazy. One thing I forgot to mention, though, John, Clark's son, went to go take on Zod in, like, the Kryptonian, like, super armor, and he's got this voice talking to him. And I can't remember the character's name right now, but it's this guy right here. Now you can't see, but he's in all in green robes. And Jason, down at my local comic shop here, Collectors Inc. in Chico, California, he told me who the guy is, and I can't remember, but super rich, billionaire guy, super high tech, knows a ton of stuff. He was the guy talking to Jonathan Kent in the suit, and it just looks like this universe is really gonna it's just gonna be awesome. So I can't wait until he comes into the fold, because it's kind of been the guy hiding in the shadows, manipulating everything. So can't wait for him to come into everything. So that was Action Comics issue number 984. Moving on, we've got The Flash issue number 27. Let's just take a minute to admire this cover. You got the Flash here. Just looks like he's like gasping for breath or something like that. And you've got Eobard Thawne here, pretty much dead on the ground. Like, what? But then you see this title, Roadkill. And you're like, what? Roadkill? Eobard? Nah. He's not Roadkill. You can't kill Eobard. Or can you? So, if you guys haven't been reading the Flash comics, you don't know what's going on. But if you have been reading the Flash comics, you know that in issue number 26, in the last few issues actually, we've been getting Eobard's side of things. You know, his perspective, why he is the way he is, why he's the Reverse Flash, why he's been tormenting Barry his entire life. We find out all those reasons. I don't exactly like those reasons. It's kind of petty. It's not really like the greatest motivation for Reverse Flash. I thought they'd build him up to be a little bit more, I don't know, it's a more terrifying character. And just the way they portrayed him, they actually made it seem like he's just jealous. He's just a jealous dude. And he's bitter about it, and so he wanted to ruin his life. So, in issue number 26, I can't remember exactly how he did it, but Eobard sent Flash to the negative Speed Force zone. And so when Barry comes back, you know, to where they are, and I believe they're in the future, they're at the Flash Museum, we get Flash, and he's like, he's insane. He's crazy. He's got more anger. I mean, it's almost as if he has a red lantern ring on, because he's just insane. He's just going off on Eobard. He's like, you're so puny and pathetic. You're just pathetic, you know. This is why you did all this stuff to me. That's why you killed my mother. That's why you did this. That's why you did that. And I mean, it's terrifying. I mean, Flash is straight scary in this issue. And it's so good. But Eobard, like, didn't care. And you see them, they run back to the beginning of time. Like when Earth was created. Volcanoes exploding everywhere. And Eobard's like, you know, we've done this before, right? Which I love that. Eobard just always messing with time. Always messing with time. And then we get them, they're fighting. They go through all sorts of points of history. We've got cavemen. We've got World War One. We've got all these different points in history, which is... I just thought it was great. But Eobard just kind of doesn't care. He's just like going with the flow, going with the punches. The Metal series by Batman. Gonna mention it again. If you haven't read it yet, check it out. DC Comics, give me money because I'm giving you free advertising. And that's the only ad you'll see in this YouTube video. Eventually, we get it to where Flash is just like, I'm sick of you. And he's like, and it goes into like a 4 picture panel. He's like, you murdered my mother. And when he says mother, he like punches him, and he like, it's almost as if his Speed Force was like a entity inside of him, and it's separated from his physical form. And then Eobard doesn't realize this, but he's like, well, if I can't defeat you, at least I can kill Iris. And he goes to run after Iris, and he just trips because he doesn't have the Speed Force anymore. And he's like, whatever, Flash. I've lost my speed before, and I've always gotten it back, so you can't stop me. And then Iris, out of nowhere, is just like, blasts him with this big-ass gun. And I actually skipped it. It was back a page. Before the ad. She just blasts the dude away. I mean, he's gone. He's just straight gone. Like, you see his freaking skull. He's just gone. I mean, Iris just blasted the shit out of him. So, he's dead. And Barry's like, no, what did you do? And then, eventually we skip forward because a few issues ago, Wally West was attacked by Eobard Thawne. The Speed Force is supposed to be healing him, but it's not healing him as fast as they thought it would. But we know he'll eventually heal. But Iris is mad. I mean, Barry lied about who he was. Rightfully so. I mean, by her knowing that he's the Flash, it puts her and Wally at risk. Even though Wally's Kid Flash, and he can, for the most part, protect himself and Iris, it's a risk for them to know that the Flash is Barry. Like, it's just a liability. And, you know, he didn't want to endanger their lives, but... You know, Eobard, it doesn't matter. He knows everything about you. There's no way you can protect her from Eobard. He knows who Iris is. He knows your relationship. So, he's just a wreck right now. He can't handle it. He doesn't know what he's doing. And the next series that's going to start is new look, new powers, new problems. So... that sounds interesting. So I don't know if he's still connected to the negative Speed Force or if he'll revert back to his normal Speed Force, but I'm really looking forward to issue number 28. So that's it for this week of Chris's Comic Talk. If you have any comments, any questions, any remarks, if you want to correct me on anything I got wrong, feel free to leave it down in the comments. I reply to all of you guys. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to reach 1,000 YouTube subscribers before the Justice League movie comes out. If we reach 1,000 subscribers before the Justice League movie, we will be giving away an Uncanny Comic Quest Justice League themed podcast shirt. We'll give away a licensed Justice League movie t-shirt. And we're going to give away the Darkseid Wars trade paperback. Limited to residents of the United States because shipping and handling fees outside of the US are way too expensive. So, please click that subscribe button. Really appreciate it, and thank you for tuning in. See you guys later. Until next week.